The morning I discovered my fence was gone, I thought I'd lost my mind overnight and taken a sledgehammer to it myself. One night, it stood proud sturdy oak, posts driven 4 feet into the earth, built to laugh off a storm. By dawn, it was reduced to jagged stubs, like a row of broken bones. I was still blinking the sleep from my eyes when I saw her. Mrs. Evelyn Harper, the queen of Willow Creek Lane, striding across my lawn in a floral robe that screamed suburban royalty. She waved a thermos like it was a gavel, her voice cutting through the crisp October air of 2024. "Property lines must remain unobstructed," she declared, her words as sharp as the steam curling from her coffee. I could have shouted, but that's not how I roll. Instead, I leaned against my porch railing, squinting at her like she was pitching a bad TV pilot. "Funny," I said, scratching my chin. "I don't recall signing up for a neighborhood safari. Did the HOA slip that rule into one of your novella-length emails about mailbox colors?" Her lips pinched so tight I thought they'd vanish. Evelyn thrived on power. To her, a fence taller than her ego was a crime against humanity. She didn't just enforce rules, she wielded them like a weapon. Her reasoning? The HOA board had decided fences were barriers to community spirit. Never mind that my fence had stood for a decade without complaint. Never mind that my property deed clearly outlined my right to it. When I asked for the paperwork behind her demolition spree, she smirked and said the vote was unanimous. Later, I learned this vote was her and her sidekick, Marla, scribbling on cocktail napkins over margaritas. I didn't yell. People like Evelyn feed on chaos like it's their morning oatmeal. Instead, I noticed the blue paint smeared on the broken board's deliberate marks, not random. This wasn't just Evelyn with a crowbar. It was a planned hit, likely involving her brother-in-law's shady landscaping crew, known for doing her bidding on the cheap. What Evelyn didn't know, and what I wasn't about to tell her, was that my fence wasn't just for show. I lived on the edge of Maplewood, where tidy lawns gave way to dense forest. Deer roamed through regularly, and bobcats prowled at night. That fence protected my garden and kept my dog, Rusty, from chasing trouble. Tearing it down was like rolling out a welcome mat for the wilderness. Explaining that to Evelyn would have been like lecturing a brick wall, only double down. So, I stayed quiet, picked up a splintered board, and noticed fresh claw marks, deep and jagged, not from tools but from something trying to claw its way through. The fence had held until Evelyn's crusade ripped it apart. 3 days later, the neighborhood's online group chat erupted. Evelyn posted a smug photo of her yard, captioned, "Open and inviting, just as Maplewood should be." Then her tone shifted. "Anyone here growling last night? Just raccoons, right?" A shaky video followed, showing her trash cans toppled, their contents strewn like confetti. Marla chimed in, "Don't worry, Evelyn. The HOA will set humane traps." I nearly snorted. Marla once tried to trap rabbits with lavender spray and a ukulele. The chat exploded with debates about bobcats versus stray dogs. I stayed silent. Sometimes, silence hits harder than a megaphone. By Friday, Evelyn called an emergency HOA meeting in her driveway, complete with neatly aligned chairs and her koi pond gurgling like a movie soundtrack. She stood like a dictator, clipboard in hand, declaring a safety crisis. "Something was stalking our yards," she said, pausing for dramatic effect. Nobody dared mention she'd ordered the fences removed. When my turn came, I kept my voice steady. "Odd," I said. "My yard was fine until someone demolished my property. But the HOA will cover the rebuild, right?" Murmurs spread. Evelyn's lips thinned to a razor's edge. She dodged, preaching unity to avoid accountability. That night, I sat on my porch with a flashlight, Rusty growling softly. Around 1 a.m., heavy steps crunched through the dark. Not raccoons, not bobcats, but something bigger. A metallic clang followed as a trash can lid hit the ground. I didn't move, just watched a massive shadow lumber toward Evelyn's yard. Broad shoulders, tufted Ursa bear. By morning, the group chat was chaos. Evelyn posted in all caps, "A bear ate my KOI. Public safety emergency." Blurry photos showed her ravaged pond. Marla suggested animal control. A quieter comment read, "Didn't Jack warn about this?" It vanished within minutes. I smirked privately. Evelyn wanted open yards. Now the forest was open, too. The next day, a neon yellow notice appeared on my door. "Violation. Failure to maintain safe property boundaries. I laughed until my sides hurt. They destroyed my fence, then cited me for not having one. Classic Evelyn. At the mailbox, my neighbor Tim, a nosy professor with a penchant for flip-flops, grinned. Evelyn's saying you invited the bear by leaving your yard wild. I snorted. Wild? The only thing my yard's inviting is gnats. That bear's here because Evelyn turned her pond into a buffet. Tim lowered his voice. Watch out. She's pushing a rule to make you liable for any bear damage, even off your property. My stomach tightened not with fear, but fury. This wasn't just control, it was a vendetta. I started documenting everything. Photos of the broken fence, screenshots of Evelyn's posts, audio from the HOA meeting. My lawyer friend, Nate, was thrilled. She's begging for a lawsuit, he said. That evening, animal control set a massive trap near the woods. Evelyn hovered, barking orders in her gardening gloves. She pointed at me, declaring me the source of the problem. I raised a hand. Source? You mean the forest? Or your koi buffet? The crowd chuckled. Evelyn's face burned red. The next night, Evelyn went door to door with a petition to force me to fund a community security fence for her yard. When she reached me, I smiled. You tore down my fence, and now you want me to buy yours? That's like stealing my tires and billing me for your flat. She jabbed her pen at me. Sign, or be the neighbor who endangers kids. I shut the door. By dawn, the bear was back, shredding her bird feeder and herb garden. Neighbors filmed as Evelyn banged pots, screaming. The bear sat, unfazed, like she was its evening entertainment. The videos went viral, captioned Evelyn versus Nature, Round 1. She cornered me at the mailboxes, hissing, You're enjoying this. I tilted my head. Enjoying my ruined fence or your new reality show? She threatened to sue, claiming I'd tanked her property value. I sent Nate my evidence, photos, recordings, everything. He called giddy. If she sues, she's paying your fees. The breaking point came when the bear got into Evelyn's garage, feasting on birdseed. She called animal control, hysterical. Neighbors gathered, filming as the bear was caged. The news ran it. HOA leaders open yard policy invites bear break-in. Evelyn's reign was crumbling. A petition to oust her as HOA president gained traction. By Monday, it had signatures from nearly every neighbor, even Marla. At the emergency vote, Evelyn clutched her binder, accusing me of sabotage. I presented my evidence, photos, recordings, county warnings. The vote was unanimous. She was out. She sued me for $150,000, claiming emotional distress. In court, Nate dismantled her case. The judge, unimpressed, dismissed it and ordered her to pay $25,000 in my legal fees. The neighborhood celebrated. Memes flooded the chat. Evelyn KO'd by bear. A week later, Evelyn moved out, her binders and koi supplies loaded into a truck. I rebuilt my fence, stronger, taller. Neighbors stopped by, joking about my bear-proof fortress. Then, one evening, the bear returned. It sniffed my new fence, then lumbered toward Evelyn's empty house, pausing at her dry pond before vanishing into the woods. I raised my beer in a quiet toast. Evelyn wanted open yards. She got them, and the wilderness answered. What would you do if your neighbor demolished your property over an HOA rule? Should HOAs have the power to override property rights? Drop your thoughts below, and if you enjoyed this tale of karma and bears, like, comment, and subscribe for more.